let's define relationship.
Okay.
Okay. That's a good one, I don't.
So, relationship is the way in which two or more concepts, objects, or people are connected, or the state of being.
We're all so by definition, every human being, every tree, every animal, every rock, everything that you experience, that you see, you're in some type of relationship with it.
Absolutely. So I'm gonna take that a step further.
Okay.
All right, we're gonna kind of go above the material expression
okay.
of a relationship because we have relationships with everything.
Yes.
Right. We have relationships with people. Mm-hmm. You have relationships with animals. Mm-hmm. You have relationships with finances. Mm-hmm. You have relationships with material things.
Yes.
Right. You even have conscious relationships.
Yes. When you say conscious, what do you mean?
So when I say conscious relationships, right, these are the elements of experience that we may not be coherent in them, right? But conscious relationships are those demonstrations of experience in which you deal with people of the same mental fortitude.
Got it.
Conscious relationships.
Okay.
So I put it to you like this, right? If the overarching umbrella is patterns, go ahead, get it out.
I just want to say shout out to the Brooklyn Bayesian, Cyrus. She's watching. Twan's in the building. He's sitting off to the side as a guest member. It's an old friend from back in our recruiting days. It's good to see you watching, sis. Continue, bro.
Got you. And also keep healing in the back of your mind because we're gonna hit on that a little bit. You know, because there's a lot of talk about healing.
Right, and nobody's healing.
But healing is just the first stage of the process.
Right.
Okay.
That's the
continuation.
There's elements that build upon that, and we're gonna get to that here in a few minutes.
Okay.
All right. So relationships, you got relationships with everything, but if you don't understand the patterns that occur within these relationships, right, you'll miss out on some very, very key fundamentals that are necessary for your development in this space of awareness.
Right.
So as you were saying, I might have did this, I might have did that, right? Go back to the point of origin before that relationship became a relationship.
Right.
Okay. Look at what your frame of consciousness was and look at the other frame of consciousness.
Come on.
Exactly.
Right. There's instances where they align and then there's instances where they're not.
But you try to make them fit.
You do. Right. But I'm going to take something that we really can all vibe on.
Okay.
When a man and a woman come together in a space of consciousness, right? Whether they aligned or not, and let's say they deal with each other physically, they open a gate.
Yes.
Right.
And when they open a gate, a soul emanates from that space of consciousness.
Right.
And it's going to play out in that frame of whatever it was.
Mm-hmm.
Whatever that
was, it's going to play out like that.
Right.
Boy.
So, but like you said, right? If you don't take the time to deal with self,
Right.
right?
Come on.
You going to get those remnants of those patterns in that
seed.
in whatever that is.
And the seed doesn't necessarily mean a physical seed.
No.
So
It could be a situation or a circumstance that you two create that now you gotta
deal
you,
with it.
meaning you and her, or you or her are gonna have to deal with.
Right.
Exactly.
According to your consciousness.
According to your consciousness.
Right. Exactly. And that's
So
when
go ahead.
that's when you was talking about your situation on you looking at yourself.
Right.
I would say guarantee you need to look at yourself and look at those intimate problems that you may have. But what you also need to look at is their problem and why was you attracted to that?
I wouldn't even say you got to look at their problem. I think that we got there's a hyper sensitive pushing, if you will, to stay focused on somebody else's problems.
Yes.
No, I'm not saying.
Let me finish the thought. Go
Okay,
ahead, finish your
okay,
thought.
okay,
Finish your thoughts, okay?
I'm not
Finish your thoughts, okay?
I'm not saying blame them.
Right.
No, you need to look at what that problem is and find it within yourself.
I got you.
Got it.
I got
The
you.
mirror. The mirror.
The mirror.
Got it.
You have to check that because the patterns is inside you somewhere.
Right.
With that pattern, they need to do this.
So pretty much you attract what you are.
You do. You don't get what you want. You get what you are.
Exactly.
100%.
Exactly.
And guess what? You'll keep getting what you are. They might come out as babies. They might come out as situations. They might come out as whatever you can think of is how it's gonna come out.
My brother in the house is moaning, so let's quantify. Let's quantify what you mean, and it's really a law of attraction type of thing, right?
What you want me to quantify? Or was you about to quantify?
I was going to try to quantify
Okay,
it because I mean it may not even go with what somebody how. So the way the law of attraction, people say, okay, first and foremost, this is what people think: opposites attract, and it's a paradox because what seemingly is an opposite is actually not.
Exactly.
It's something of a like vibration is attracting something from a like vibration. So in situations, let's say, go ahead. Wait.
So in even in physics, right?
Okay.
You got gravity and you got levity.
Oh, explain.
Just hang on to that.
Hang on. Go ahead.
I'm just what you said reminded me of that concept.
Okay.
Right. Gravity is. I don't want to get into that. That's going to detract.
But go ahead.
Whole other thing. But just
look it up.
Look it up. Just pay attention to what he's saying. Look up gravity, but people don't talk about levity.
Okay. So I'm going to use an example of a wealthy man attracting a non-wealthy woman.
Okay.
Or
go with that one.
Okay.
Go.
A wealthy man attracting a wealthy man. He's an accomplished man, right? He's done things. He's worked hard and so on and so forth. But for some reason, he's attracted to in the construct of physicality, someone who is less off than him.
And I'm gonna tell you, I've been listening to this stuff all week, and you know what the woman or somebody would say?
What's that?
He's trying to build her up.
No. But
That's what they say.
No.
You're right. Let me keep going because we're on the same place. That wealthy man, he's not necessarily looking for a woman. We say we're looking for someone that's on the same level. A lot of times we say we're looking for a woman that's on the same level, but in reality, the functionality is you're looking for someone that you can bring up to your level, or you see potential.
But check
how
this
many men that's watching this see potential? Oh, she got potential.
But check this out: the wealthy man. That is a fraction of the man.
Right.
We're not talking about his emotional state.
Right.
So materially, she may not be the same way as him.
Right.
Emotionally, she may be right aligned with where he's at.
There you go. So now in the so it play nothing is what it's everything is. Well, hold on. Let me get my saying together.
Slow down now.
Okay, Archangel Michael, please slow down my thinking.
Oh boy.
Nothing is as it seems, but everything you say it is. Meaning, a lot of times things play out in the physical realm that it gives us the opportunity to label it. You understand what I'm saying?
Right.
But on the soul level, it's something else going on that you don't know. You don't know what it is. It's not what it seems. So it's going to be what you say it is. You're going to say, oh, well, I'm bringing her up and I see potential in her. But what's really happening, that's your label. But what's really happening, you have a soul agreement with this person to say, you're going to be in a place I'm going to give you maybe trouble. I'm going to give you a hard time. I'm going to be everything that you're not to develop you on some level that you lack in. And vice versa.
100.
Or vice versa. You may be bringing something to that other individual, whether you see it or not. You're bringing something to that other individual and they're learning stuff from you.
Now,
go ahead.
You can either be coherent with that or you can be completely detached from that.
It. Yes.
Right? So what I'll say is this: whenever we don't understand the pattern of something, right, we lose the ability to co-create with it and we become victims of the experience.
Well, we choose to become a victim.
Yes.
Right.
Because we're not there. We're not in that space of awareness. You understand what I'm saying? So like kind of like we touched on it. I think we touched on it last week, right? Not every relationship is meant to be a physical relationship.
Right.
We talked. Yeah, we did talk. We touched on it, but me and you had a conversation about it.
We did.
Yeah.
So,
and it's not always gonna be a lifetime relationship.
No.
And that's where you get into the sentiments about love and freedom.
Right.
Right.
Choice.
Right.
Free will.
Right.
So on and so forth.
loving you from a distance.
Do I have time to quantify contracts?
You got time, bro.
Okay, so let me explain contracts and agreements, right? And this is for some of you, it's going to be a belief thing or understanding thing, or if it don't make sense to you, don't worry about it. Before we come here, we pattern or plan our path of life in an incarnation, right? And the free will is that you get to choose certain things. You get to deviate from that lesson or that plan that you have. But at the same time, it's certain, I say wickets, meaning checkpoints that you have to hit along the way. Right. So if you look at a long path, a mile long path or a tunnel, you can run down the tunnel. You can skip down the tunnel. You could choose to just give up in the middle of the tunnel. Right. You could do so many different things, but you're going down that tunnel. It's just a matter if you're going to go to the very end or somewhere in between you're going to give up. And the thing is that, let's say your soul may choose to learn compassion, right? It's also understand that everybody else has free will as well.
Yes.
So you may come into a family that at one point, part of the plan was for them to be wealthy, but they made decisions by the time you got there, they weren't wealthy. But you still have lessons. It's not that you're not going to, the plans change. You're going to still learn lessons based on your choices, based on the things that you choose to do and don't choose to do. And ultimately what happens is, what you said, we meet people that the plan was to meet them at a certain point and help them. Right. And some of us, because we fall into carnality, we think help is, I like her, she like me. I'm supposed to sleep with this person. I'm supposed to do something. I'm supposed to do something with this person.
Right.
And you connect a certain type of bond and you alter the agreement. So sometimes you stay in a situation that at some point that you were only supposed to be there for a brief moment, but now it's a 2-year commitment, a 3-year, a 10-year, whatever. And things also could result from that. You change the pattern, but you still are learning something. Right. You understand? I got a lot of goosebumps are hitting me. But I just want to say that we all have contracts with everybody that you meet directly and indirectly. Right. Everything is connected. Everything is one. Continue, though.
No, I think Twan wanted to say something.
Turn the mic. Talking to the mic, Twan. Talking to the mic. You can come sit here if you want to.
Yeah. Jump on in, brother.
Now, microphone check 1 2 1 2.
You good?
Sitting back and just listen to you brothers, articulate your points, on a different wavelength. I vibrate differently than all three of you guys. What I would say is you're right. There are contracts. I'm sorry. There are contracts that you make with people, and within your process of life, there are contracts, there are agreements, there are choices. Right? Yeah. Life is about choices. My vibration is not the choices that you need to be concerned about. It's the consequences of the choices. Right? And that's where the suffering comes in. Yeah. Because when you make a choice, you can make the choice freely, but that choice vibrates not only from you, but also vibrates to the people around you and the people in your orbit. So those consequences is what you have to deal with, right? Because those consequences is the reverberation of your choice. So how can I put this simplistically? Take a pebble, throw it in the water. What happens? It's ripples. You got an impact point, rock hits it, the rock is gone now, right? That's the choice. You threw the rock in the water. Now, what's come from that entry point into the water is reverberation of the wave that you now made. That wave, not only is it going outward, is also coming back inward. Mm-hmm. So if you're standing in the water, sooner or later that wave is going to hit you. Yeah. And you have to deal with the impact of that wave. Right. So with your choices, understand this. Be careful what kind of size rock you throw. Some waves you can deal with. Some waves knock you over. Right. Some waves drown you. Some waves put you in peril. Some waves put you underwater. But you have to deal with it. B4L, Tony, told me something a long time ago when we was on Ross.
Yes.
And he said, you told me something that and still sticks with me to this day. He said, young brother, you got 3 phases in life. You either in a storm, going into a storm, either you going into a storm, you in a storm, or you coming out of the storm. But you're never in one phase too long. He said, what you got to understand is understanding what phase you're in, right? Not to get out of the phase, but prepare for the next phase. Because it's not going to be there forever.